coverage now, because this is no joke. What we are expecting, these temperatures are downright, I mean, they can be deadly.
Yeah, in this case, very much so. And you add the wind and the rain and the snow, and it's going to be a mess.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why we got that KOIN 6 weather alert that is still in place. Of course, Chief Meteorologist Natasha Stenbach will have a closer look at those winds and what you might expect to feel here in the coming days here real shortly, as our temperatures right now have already managed to slide back into the upper 20s with our winds out of the southeast at about 9 miles per hour. Sunset dipping below the horizon at 4:49 as the cold air has already managed to funnel its way through parts of the Columbia River Gorge. You'll notice that the temperature difference from even Portland just to Corvallis, about a 2-hour drive or so. Just seeing 10-degree temperature difference, but even Corvallis starting to see some of those temperatures slide backwards as the winds, they're the culprits and the mechanism for driving all of those cold temperatures from the east side of the gorge into our area. Right now, sustained anywhere from about 5 to 10 miles per hour, but that will be changing here in the coming hours as the brunt of this Arctic blast remains just east of the mountains. So even our friends out towards the Central Plains feeling the deep freeze as the Cascades typically act like a good blocking mechanism for us. That won't necessarily be the case, and it has no match to the Columbia River Gorge, which will allow for those cold temperatures to funnel their way back into our area. And that's what we're already starting to see. Now we just wait for the moisture to move overhead, and as those rain droplets fall overhead, they will quickly turn to snowflakes if it even gets warm enough in the upper layers of the atmosphere. But right now, just seeing maybe a snowflake or two, that's just a pre-show of what's to come. So you're in the clear for the rest of tonight. Everything doesn't get going until about the mid-morning hours tomorrow, as the brunt of the system is still just offshore as we lose the daylight hours to our satellite here. Still showing a lot of moisture, though, down towards the southwest corner of the state. That's where the National Weather Service for Portland, McMinnville, places in between are expecting to see winter storm warnings. That goes into effect tomorrow. 2 to 4 inches is what we could potentially see. You mix that in with 60-mile-per-hour winds and blizzard conditions, a possibility, as we are expecting to see those temperatures continue to plummet as the storm system moves its way from the south to the north. This is a snapshot of about 7 o'clock or so in the morning. That's where much of Lane County, parts of the coastline, will see the pink. That means icy conditions, freezing rain, a very real potential. The blue, that's going to be the snowfall for us. And of course, the green is the rain as all of this travels its way further to the north. You'll notice a bit of a line right over the Portland area. I do anticipate that the Portland metro will only see snowfall. It's just going to be too cold with temperatures in the 20s and teens that it won't be able to sustain any liquid water droplets that will freeze on contact, like in places like Salem or out along the coast, as all of the snow still remains into the late evening hours tomorrow, not peeling its way out of our area until we get to after sunset. And then we're left with the bone-chilling cold temperatures and the breezy conditions. Now, as far as the snow accumulation goes for the Portland area, you can see a snapshot of some of the forecast models, what they are honing in on. Now, I would just go ahead and disregard the GFS, 11.5 inches. I think we're closer to the 2 to 4 inches. Now, if you're up in elevation, you could potentially see slightly more, as our ice accumulation is going to be detrimental to travel along Interstate 5 and also for 101 out along the coastlines. We could see about 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice. So again, Portland, no ice. Salem, yes, ice. Roads are just going to be a mess across the area, and the dangerous wind chill, that's primarily for Portland coming out of the Columbia River Gorge, as we expect to see a bit of a pause or a break in the weather by the time we get to tomorrow. That's where you want to have already done your grocery shopping and kind of hunkered in and prepare for the brutally cold winds and temperatures. That's where we bring in Chief Meteorologist Natasha Stenbach with a closer look at exactly what we expect to see as far as the winds go. Natasha?
It's interesting, Josh. I was just looking at the current conditions at PDX, and our temperature just dropped to 28. Our wind speed is now up to 12 miles per hour. So with that temperature and that wind speed, your feels like temperature currently for Portland is 18 degrees. Now we add on to the wind. Check out your wind speeds forecasted for tonight. Anywhere from 20 to 30 miles per hour, but that's nothing compared to what we're expecting by tomorrow morning. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're getting gusts through the gorge up to 50 miles per hour. All the way out across Portland. Now, when you consider winds like that combined with the snow, when the snow arrives for us tomorrow, now we're talking about blizzard conditions. So this is something you're going to have to pay attention to if you're going to be in the Portland Portland area or anywhere through the gorge. 35 miles per hour for 3 hours or more is what qualifies for blizzard conditions. Worst thing about blizzard conditions is you just can't drive in it. Never mind being outside. You don't want to be outside away from shelter, but if you have to drive in it, you can't see anything. Visibility down to less than a quarter of a mile. Now, with wind gusts like this, the power outage risk is extremely high, especially if we're talking about wind gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour. So watch out for that. In addition to any areas, especially south of Portland, where you're dealing with ice bringing down trees, now you're dealing with wind bringing down trees. So power outages are likely expected. Plug everything in tonight before you go to bed. Wind chill forecast. Take a look at these temperatures. Actual temperatures in the blue, but it's your feels like your wind chill temperature that is going to be in the pink right here. As we dive down into the 20s and the teens, the wind speed is increasing at the same time. So that's going to give you wind chill values at least 2 below, possibly even lower as we get to the middle of the day tomorrow for the Portland area. 7-day forecast looks like this. So we continue with our snow and ice storm through tomorrow. Gustiest winds happening for us tomorrow. Your daytime high tomorrow only 20 degrees. Your overnight temperatures dropping down into the teens. Dangerous cold continues through Sunday with a high of only 28, a low back down to 20. We get to Monday, we're still seeing sub-freezing temperatures. We don't get above freezing at all on Monday, even though the sun will be coming out. 27 for you, 18 again for you going into Tuesday morning. And then by the time we hit Tuesday, we're bringing that temperature out of the freezing category, but not by much, only 35 for a high. So we could have another round of wintry mix Tuesday. Finally, we get into Wednesday and Thursday of next week, and we're back to closer to normal, still a little bit on the chilly side, but Wednesday and Thursday, now we're back in the 40s. And for Portland, then it will mean just old-fashioned rain showers.
Balmy, yes. It's fortunate this is falling on a holiday weekend,
yes,
at the very least, right?
Yeah, I'm just hoping that everybody's paying attention to the weather and the weather forecast, because if you head into the gorge on Saturday thinking, I'm going to make my way to Eastern Oregon, you're going to be caught by surprise.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Josh and Natasha will both be here for team weather coverage coming up in our 5 o'clock hour, so stay tuned for that. Now, a lot of folks headed to places this weekend. We checked with